Hi, welcome to another video on my robotic hand with compressor, vertical gearbox for the arm and pivot motor to get the whole arm and hand moving horizontally, and latest addition, the wrist motor, which is actually also a pivot motor. Last time I added this motor and I tried to, after getting it wired, to see how it works, and it turns out that it runs quite fast. And the problem is that with the power controller you can control it better than with the software, and that is a problem. If you use the power knob on the controller, like it is here, so you can control it very gradually, and that is very nice. However, when you use it in the software, for instance with the diagnostics interface, you can use only 8 speeds, and even the first lowest speed setting is quite fast. Too fast for my comfort. So the question is how to cope with that. And the other problem that turned out to be is that during the operation, the motor tends to shift outside. It is literally pushed away. So before I can set me to find out a solution for the speed, I have to find a solution so that the motor can actually remain in its place. The simplest solution would be to use a tire wrap. However, since everything is modular and needs to be removed easy, I won't use a tire wrap, because that would cost me a tire wrap each time. So if I remove the motor for now, you can see how I put it in, with just a groove in here located on the plate. And for now that's all I have done. So I need actually a solution that I can put it like vertically like that, so it keeps in its place. But also this distance is the same distance as between as I have it now. So the mounting plate, additional sliding, and the gear, or the pivot anyway. So that distance I have to maintain. And that is of course bringing another problem. Also considering the fact that there isn't much place on the plate itself, and that is bringing extra challenges. So how to solve this? Not quite sure. Space is limited, so I have to be inventive. Let's see. One solution that I figured out by lack of anything better is to make a construction I have also used with my now retired model Mirft, and that is that I construct a so-called embracement. So which should be working just like this. It won't be exactly the same, of course, but kind of enough the same. And this will be well, hopefully something that works out. I have to use this because there is no part, not that I know at least, that makes a double construction like this, which I would favor. But anyway, this could keep everything in place. So with this and then of course the same idea from the other side. And then this one, of course, goes somewhere like this. But a close look at this reveals that it is not really the best solution there is. So I'll try to move it a bit. There is quite some space here, and that is of course not doing any good. Another solution is to have shorter ones here, but I'll have to find them. So yeah, time for a little improvement. So let's see how a shorter one would make a difference or not. First I have to take this one out. Oops. So this is a really short one, and then I would hope that this is going to work, but as I already see, it won't. It will not fit in the setup of this motor. Not even when completely pushed against the wrist, it will not fit. So that is a bummer. So the solution I had in mind will not work, unfortunately. The question is what to do then, because with this solution, which isn't the wanted solution, I really have too much space here. So yeah, and this is also a little bit too much flexibility, which would not have been possible if the space here was tight enough. So back to the drawing board once again. A very different solution, although not even that different, would be getting rid of this and using a slightly longer one on the upper side and the lower side. And then using a plastic rod or a metal one and have that in between. However, this requires a slightly longer one. So this is hardly any longer, but that would be something like this anyway. And if it is a bit longer, then this is a direct match to what I like. So this is the solution, and I will stick to this. So this will immediately keep the motor from being pushed out. And that is what I need. Remains the speed. Because as I showed you in the last video, the speed is a very big problem. With the speed of the pivot motor, which has a very different ratio than this one, and then I have to use the slow speed for this one as well, and then it runs okay. For this one, this is way too fast. So I need a real good solution. But let me first finish this one. And with this longer plastic rod, it should do the job. Put it entirely through. Clamp on one side, oops, and one on the other side. And that's it. No chance of the motor being pushed out anymore. So that's one thing. Now let's take another look at the wiring. That really actually needs to be perpendicular to the connectors. It is actually too tight. And I don't like that, but what can I do? I could move these on top, but then I have a problem with the axis. So let me move the camera a little bit to the side. As I said, I can only solve this by putting this on top, but then I have a problem with the axis and I don't like that. I can of course replace this by other components, other parts, but would it solve anything? Not like this. So back to the motor. How to do it? Up to speed now. So back to code. Taking a look at the code again, as I have put it last time, using a switch, but now I recognize of course that this is not entirely correct. Well, for the switch it would be. The switch would have an output, and with 8 switches on the interface itself, then a few on the extensions would actually be 8 plus 3 is 11. So that is one thing, but concentrating now, since I haven't implemented the switch yet, hardware, how would the wrist motor work? First set the direction, just like I did with the pivot switch. At first actually, because the wrist direction is a status, and with the pivot switch I have taken out all software, which is better in this case. Right now I don't have a choice at all, so I have to do it with software. And if the wrist direction is 0, equal to 0, then the wrist direction becomes 1, and you set the motor. However, I don't have the switch yet, as I said earlier. So what I will do for now is introduce a sleep, and considering the fact that I use time.sleep here, I will use of course the same here, and I will have it run for 1 second, and given the speed that the motor has, I think 1 second is more than enough. Physically you can turn your hands only 180 degrees. Well, not entirely correct. You can run your hand actually when you completely outstretch it. You can do it almost 360 degrees, your human hand. If you just without stretching it, you can get to 270 degrees. But considering the wiring and the pneumatic tubes, that would not be wise. So in the position the hand is now is alright. It is not entirely accurate as I want it, but it's okay for now. And that means that when I run it for 1 second, that would be nice. Then considering the status, this is not really nice, because you do an action and then change the status. So I will do it like this. This is a lot better. Then what is the rest direction? A status has to be set previously. So I'm going to the start of the code. Like here I set pivot direction, but pivot direction is not used anymore, so I'm change this into wrist direction. And then by lack of the switch, I remove it, and then I say, yeah, right, I have to unindent. So dedent. And this will be a lot better. So now it's time to actually see if it works. So time to test. Let's first see if everything in the code is failure free. It looks like it is failure free, but the position of the hand I have to adjust, because this is giving me the creeps, giving the fact that it that 1 second is in this case almost too long. And another problem is if you quit it, and that is really giving me a nightmare. If you quit it in the wrong time and you start it again, the second that it won't start from the direction that you want it. It has again given the position of the wires and the tubes. It has a preferable position. So if you just stop it and it is in the uttermost direction, the outmost direction, then it will start from there. And in that case it is best to have that switch. So it knocks off the switch, knocks over, whatever, and then it will automatically change it. If it is very close to the switch, it won't bother about the time, like this sleeping time. It just approaches the switch as it does now with the arm pivot motor and gearbox, and it flips over the switch and it goes the other way. And with this it will not work that way. It does not work that way. So I will show you on camera. So with the hand in the current position, it would start running 1 second that way and 1 second that way. I don't want that, so I put the hand in this position. this way it has been for quite a while. So what I want to do now is run the code. One second. And here you see once again that 1 second somehow is not 1 second the other way. Just like with the pivot. That was one way, one direction, and 1 second in one direction and longer the other direction, or whatever. So let me put the hand once again back to its neutral position, as I will call it then, I think. And run again. This is one, and it will turn further and further away, or does it? Yes, it goes further and further away. So putting it back into its neutral position. So I have to find a solution for this. And I think that's it for now. So I managed to get a solution for the motor not being pushed out. I have yet to find a solution for the wires to not be like this, but really perpendicular. And I have adapted the code for this, and I don't like it, not really. Thank you for watching. If you like my video and other videos, please subscribe to my channel. Also see my Instagram and Twitter. Although if you have subscribed, there's no need to follow my Twitter. If you like my videos, please consider to make a small donation via my website to keep my blog going. And if you don't have PayPal, please contact me so you can donate in another way. This is certainly going to be continued. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.